Did you know this pattern can use panels or running yardage?
Today we're going through all of our patterns from our new book, Panel Perfect 3-Yard Quilts, to see how different they look with running yardage.
Hi, it's Donna Robertson.
And Fran Morgan with Fabric Café.
Our new book, Panel Perfect 3-Yard Quilts, is so versatile. Every pattern is written to work with a panel yard and 2 1-yard cuts of fabric, or if you prefer, use 3 1-yard cuts of fabric.
It is amazing how different they look too.
Well, let's stop talking about it and show you. Rochester is a great pattern. It uses 10-inch blocks and they work perfectly with directional fabric. In fact, every pattern in this book can use directional fabrics in the #1 position. That's great to keep in mind. And because this quilt is made with vertical rows, you've got some really neat points there that I'd like to point out. You're going to make your rows, and then whenever you put the rows together, you're going to use a sashing strip so there's no seams to match. And your #1 border right here is going to just make it look like that your blocks here also have sashings. So it's really cool. It's so simple to make. I'm so excited about sharing how to use running yardage in these panel patterns.
Yeah.
It is just so easy to do. So let me explain how it works. We're using the same fabric strategy that we always use with our 3-yard quilts. We have a position 1, 2, and 3. The #1 is your focus fabric. Now that's the fabric that you want to show off the most. That's what you've fallen in love with and you want to make into a quilt. And we've got this great woof fabric here. Isn't that
pretty.
Lovely? And I know there are lots of people that love wolves out there. So this fabric is going to go everywhere you see where we use the panel here with the different little blocks of houses. This is going to go in that #1 spot.
It's great. And it's a big print too.
Yes, it is.
It's cool because if you have big prints, they're going to work beautiful in some of these patterns here.
Oh, they are. Now, they take the focus fabric out of the equation, and you have 2 fabrics left, and you will compare those 2 fabrics, selecting the #2 as the lightest of the 2, and then the #3 is your darkest fabric. So all of these, we're putting our lightest color, are going to be here in these sashings, and then they're going to be right here in the middle of the secondary row here. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Just little diamonds. And then the background is that color that we always say is going to give you the pop of color in your quilt, and it really grounds the quilt as well. And look how lovely that looks.
It looks so good together.
It does. It just looks like a snowy day with the darker sky when the snow is starting to fall. So that is going to go everywhere you see the really pretty brick red here.
I love this. You know, it's kind of interesting the way the running yardage falls in the quilt. It almost looks like there's depth. Like you can look into the quilt and there's all these wolves in the snowy background.
Yes, you can almost see the gentle slope of the snow-covered mountain where they are.
Yes, it's very cool in this.
And I love the grounding of that blue. It's such a
do.
beautiful blue.
Such a great combination of colors.
Yes, I really do like that. So let's look at it next to the version using a panel and see how different it looks. So you can see that it just looks lovely with the panels, but if you're not a panel person, you can do it with the running yardage and get another smashing looking quilt.
Absolutely, it's gorgeous.
I really like the way it turned out. And it's just as easy as 1, 2, 3.
It is, it really is.
Okay, let's talk about the name of this kit. It's Wild at Heart. It's the Rochester quilt pattern from the Panel Perfect 3-Yard Quilts.
Now this is our Providence pattern, and this is a great pattern to highlight some of those really big repetitive prints that we've seen out there. There's some beautiful ones, ombres and just big scenes out there. So many gorgeous ones. This is going to be perfect. Now we've put a row of stars at the top and at the bottom. That's going to really anchor your big print right in the middle, so it's going to be perfect. And you know what's really great about this? When you have a nice big block in the middle like this, it's going to make your cutting fabric #1 so easy. So it's going to go super, super fast. Let's go check out some cool fabric. The Providence pattern calls for a horizontal full yard panel. But what if you don't want to use a panel and you just want to use running yardage?
Yeah, because you wouldn't want little teeny flowers.
Yeah, but there are some gorgeous fabrics with very large scale prints that will work perfect in this situation.
I can remember the first time that I got a box where I'd ordered fabric, and it had a great big, I didn't know it was such a large design, and I remember looking at that fabric thinking, what am I supposed to do with this? And so this is that way. It's like, this is a huge peacock. Yeah, but you don't want to cut it up because it's a beautiful piece of art too.
Yes, it's gorgeous. So these peacocks are probably 16 inches tall from the tip of their feather to the tip of their head. Very pretty. This will be our #1 fabric, and you won't have to cut it up. It'll go in this big area here. This is like the ultimate big block quilt. Okay. It's going to really show off that gorgeous fabric. Now we've paired it with our #2, and this is a white with a metallic peacock feather on top of it.
You can just see them from in the tails of these. What a perfect #2.
Perfect #2, but highly contrasting. So what this is going to do is it's going to fall really well in our background so that our stars in our #3 fabric really pop. So the #3 is this like turquoisey blue metallic, well, the medallions with the metallic on it. And it kind of mimics some of the larger bits in our focus fabric. These are 3 different scales fabric, so it's going to work really well in our stars here and in our border and little sashing strips here. This is really going to make it pop and ground it, kind of like that other blue. It's going to work perfect.
Wow, what a dynamic statement that makes.
Yes, I mean, those peacocks are so majestic and so beautiful, and the little touches of metallic are great. And that #2 fabric, you know, we always say you don't ever want a boring #2 fabric. This is not a boring #2 fabric, but there's so much contrast in scale and color that it works perfect.
It does. I love those little peacock
So
feathers.
good. Okay, now we have a side-by-side comparison, and you can see they both are amazing, but you can easily use that running yardage, and it's great.
It's going to be fantastic. I love it.
It's really, really good. All right, let me get you the kit information on this. It is called Alabaster Wings, and it is our Providence pattern.
Now, Aruba has this great modern feeling with this asymmetrical design that we have here, and it looks like the focus blocks are just floating off of the surface of the quilt. You get so much dimension in this particular pattern. Now, we created these blocks with super simple strip assembly units and sashing strips. So let's take a look. You know, when it comes to picking out your fabric and using 3-yard quilts, you really get to give your personality in that quilt, or the personality of the person that's going to receive the quilt. And this is a great example of diametrically opposite quilts, but this with the beautiful butterflies, we're going to choose instead lots of color and movement with a geometric kind of a design.
It's gorgeous.
It's really going to make it a whole lot more modern, and it's just going to be one of those things that you go, wow, when you see it. It has such nice contrast with the black and white and the color. It is so neat. So our focus fabric is this beautiful medallion. I love the way this is drawn. It has all these great colors. It's going to go everywhere you see the butterflies. And then for our #2 and 3, super simple, we're just going to have black and white. So the #2 is going to go in the background, and it does have kind of a tone-on-tone swirl, so there's a little bit of something going on there in the background of that. And then the #3 is going to give you that pop of color, or black,
grounding.
with the grounding, And that really needs it when you have all these bright colors. And look at the image of this. It is gorgeous. Doesn't it just do its, I mean, that #2 and 3 fabric do their job really well.
I mean, this is a good example of that. So the color is what comes forward, and that's what you're seeing. So it's highlighting the focus fabric the way it should.
Yes.
Because 2 and 3 are supporting roles. So, and I love the little bit of black shadowing that block. It just really, in this case, because of the high contrast, it makes that block feel like it's coming off the quilt even more.
Absolutely. I do love that. right next to the panel pattern, you can really see how different it looks. And you can either use the panels or you could use running yardage, and you can pick what you like best for your version of this quilt pattern. Love it.
Gorgeous.
And so this kit is called Glass Glow. It's the Aruba pattern.
Now this is our Venice pattern, and this pattern uses a 7-inch block right here, which is going to work great for some nice size fabric. And of course it can be directional like we've mentioned in this space here. Now this quilt's easy to assemble. All we've done is used 2 half-square triangles put together in that flying geese style and just alternate them between the blocks. And then we have another row using that same half-square triangle flying geese style in between just a smaller square here. You just repeat those rows. It's going to go together very, very simply. Now when you get it all together, you can see it kind of gives a neat illusion, like there's a lot of depth in the quilt, and I really, really like that. All right, let's get this on the table and check out some cool fabric. I want to just mention a little special feature that we have in our book, Panel Perfect 3-Yard Quilts, and that is the fabric number 1 position, which is our focus position. We have given you 2 options in this. The first line is going to tell you how to cut your panel blocks and how many to cut. There's going to be a second cutting instructions under fabric number 1 that's going to say if you're using running yardage, this is how you cut it. So you're going to do either or, depending on whether you're using running yardage or the panel blocks. So just keep that in mind. It keeps it so simple for you. You don't have to think. It's all there for you. So let's look at this darling fabric. I love these little lions. You know, there was a point when I was collecting lions.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because I was going through a really tough time and I needed some courage. And so I thought lions were the perfect thing to collect. So they have a little special place for me. So, and these guys are so cute, little lions with little overalls. He's a really good size to go in our panel block area here. And as you can see, everywhere you see the panel block here, that's where our little lion's gonna go.
And you know, these lions are actually tossed fabric. But the patterns are written so you could use directional fabrics with every single one of the patterns.
Or it looks great with toss too.
Absolutely.
So, now we've paired our little lions here with a number 2 fabric that has a print on it. And we like a print fabric in our number 2 position for the Venice quilt because we have a little bit larger area here. And as you can see, we have stars on this one, but our little sunshines and little bursts are going to go everywhere the stars are. So you're going to get a nice little peek of all of those.
Nice.
And then we've added our contrast by pulling in this really beautiful blue, and it is going to go everywhere the green is, so it'll be our diamond in our quilt that our lions are in the middle of. And it's really important on this one to get that high contrast for that number 3, so it really gives you the pattern and that little pop that it needs. And I love, love, love the way the number 2 has that print on it, but it doesn't compete with the lions.
Yes.
It's the perfect balance there.
And the number 3 is the perfect thing for to really highlight that focus fabric.
It does, because that blue kind of matches the blue of his overalls, which is so sweet.
I like
really love this. We have our running yardage with our lions here, which is so sweet. And then our panels on the other side. And you can see how they both are adorable and work equally well.
Absolutely.
Very, very good. All right, let's get you the name of this kit. It is called Roary the Brave, and this is our Venice pattern.
Now the Bombay pattern uses nice big 10-inch blocks that can highlight a larger focus print. And the alternate blocks, well, they're made very, very simply, and it would be so much fun to play around with these blocks as well. What if you made every block in a different color scheme? It would be so much fun to see. And the pattern is made with vertical rows, so we're going to have vertical rows. We're going to sew them together with the sashing strip, and voila, when you put those rows together, there's no seams to match. So let's talk about this one. This is great fabric. You can get a lot of movement whenever you use a big print like this. And what's really cool about this one is that these are sea urchins, so it gives you that beachy vibe.
It does a little bit.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So the focus fabric is going to go everywhere you see the elephants. And I think that's going to look super in there. So we've picked a number 2 fabric, which is kind of a sandy gray color, and it's going to really offset this bright, bold fabric, and it's going to keep that beachy vibe going. And that's going to go everywhere you see in the cream color here. Then our number 3 fabric, we're going to go with a real high contrast dark. Oh, doesn't that look great?
That looks amazing.
That is going to be a gorgeous fabric for your number 3. It's going to appear everywhere that you see the teal color. Yeah. I love that blue with that peachy, pinky kind of a color. It just really makes it come alive.
It does. And what's so cool, the sea urchins, I mean, I know they're sea urchins, but they look like these beautiful medallions or these beautiful orbs that have been painted and
or the tops of umbrellas.
It's so pretty. I mean, regardless of what they're so pretty, and I love the pop of color that it gives to the gray and the blue and the 2 and 3 position.
Yes, I really like that as well. And let's look at them side by side. Now look at that. What a difference it makes just with the fabric that you picked. So you can have it however you want, running yardage or a panel. You can make it bright and bold, or you can make it soft and subtle, but it is a gorgeous pattern.
Both work.
Both work. And this kit is called Coastal Crown, and it's the Bombay pattern.
Now, our Manhattan pattern is another great one to use big prints with. It would also work really well with ombre fabrics. You can just imagine it being ombre'd in the center here, which would be amazing. Now, the piecing around the center part here kind of looks like a picture frame with little fancy corners there, and it's all put together so simply. So I think this could work really well if you had a strong patterned fabric right in the middle, like a bold geometric, but this could also look really, really sweet with a simpler, sweeter fabric and softer tones, and just the picture frame kind of framing around the edge. I think it would be really great. So it's a really versatile pattern. Let's get it on the table and check out some fabric. Now we have some running yardage that actually almost looks like a panel, but it's not a panel. It is running yardage. So it's going to work really great in this. So it is here with our leaves, with all the water in the background.
And I see what you mean. It looks like a panel, but it's running yardage.
It's running yardage, which is so, so cool. And it's like the leaves have just fallen on the lake and the ripples. I mean, it's just like, and the sun it's dawn and the sun is coming out. It is gorgeous. And that will be in our number 1 position, which is in the very center of this quilt. Then for the number 2, we kept it a little bit more monochromatic with a tone on tone. We have a gold, and it's almost outlines of the leaves with our gold with just a little small hint of a darker red in there. This is going to be everywhere you see the gold on this quilt. And now for our pop of color, our number 3. It's really important to get that contrast in this quilt so that you can really see these great corners and all of the piecing here on the sides. And this green blue is so perfect to get that contrast. It's also a little bit of a monochromatic, so it doesn't compete with our focus fabric, but wow, doesn't it match beautifully? It's gonna work so well. It's gonna be right on the edge up against our panel, in our block, and then on our border. Wow.
Double wow.
I mean, and this is running yardage. I mean, isn't it breathtaking?
And boy, does that number 3 fabric do its job.
It does. It frames it so beautifully. And I love that the number 2 has enough texture to it so it keeps the interest going, which I think is really important because there's some larger areas that you can see it. All right, now let's look at these side by side so that you can see the difference. Both gorgeous, both work perfectly. I would be tickled pink with either one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It is absolutely extraordinary. All right, let's get you the kit information on this. It is called Autumn Breeze, and it is our Manhattan pattern.
Now the Madrid pattern is a great quilt with friendship starch that creates so much movement in this quilt. They look like they're just spiraling over the surface of the quilt. This dark border made with the number 3 fabric just frames it in, and it looks so good. This pattern could also easily be made with a patriotic theme to it with all of those stars. It would look great too. Now this one, the fabric number 1, really has a nice size block, and so you need to pick a fabric that you really want to show off some great fabric. And these hummingbirds are perfect for that size block. Let me tell you, these are gorgeous. And look at how beautiful they're going to be in these blocks.
I mean, just the colors alone together are phenomenal.
This is one I would say they are yummy.
Yes, but then the hummingbirds are up. It's so good.
Yeah, I can't wait to show the image on this one. It is beautiful. But you can see these beautiful hummingbirds, and you know, hummingbirds are so jewel-like whenever they're fluttering around the feeders. And this is going to be gorgeous in these blocks. Now the number 2, we actually went with a nice cream color, and again is a tone on tone, but going to that lighter color that gives you the contrast with this, but it kind of falls to the background so that it really causes your focus fabric to really shine. So that's going to fall to the background. And then our pop of color, our number 3, the supporting roll for the stars, as well as the borders. That is going to be gorgeous. Look at that.
It is so pretty.
That just, it's like a breath of spring.
It is. It is very spring. I think this is a great example of a quilt that, one, you need high contrast, but that white tone on tone in the background really helps keep it fresh and airy like the fabric is.
Well, these quilts really do show off that focus fabric, and that's what we all are drawn to when we're purchasing fabrics. Now look at them side by side. Both of them are gorgeous. They just have kind of the fall colors versus that springy look. So it is gorgeous. I love the teal.
It's gorgeous. It really, really is. And it all has that kind of watercolor effect to it that is so gorgeous.
Okay, so the kit information on this is Garden Concerto, and it's the Madrid pattern.
Now this is the Santa Fe pattern. What's really cool is we have a nice big 10-inch space here. It's a nice 10-inch block, and of course you can use running yardage in these areas. It can be a directional fabric, so it's perfect for those big prints that you have. Now this is all put together. We've got a nice row of pieced blocks here. These go together so easy because they're stitch and flip, as well as the border around the block. It's made with the stitch and flip method. Now this is a really cool border on this. I really liked it. I thought it had a little bit of that Southwest flair, almost like you took a trip to Santa Fe. Now it's a great pattern to use nature-themed fabrics, so let's go check those out. Now the running yardage that we're going to put into the Santa Fe pattern has a similar flavor like you would see in Santa Fe, but a different style a little bit. I don't know if that makes any sense. But you know, Santa Fe could be outdoorsy, or it could be like the suns that we have here, very stylized.
I see your point. That's great.
Yeah, and that's going to go, of course, in the big blocks, so it really shows it off. Now we've put it with a number 2 fabric that has a little dimension to it, texture. It's like a warm golden background almost. And it's very light because we want that contrast for this pattern. That's going to be really important. So this is going to go everywhere you see the cream here. And then for our stars and our additional border here, we're going with this kind of a brick red that's also a texture. Now sometimes when we have a really cool big print like we do in this one, those simple 2 and 3 fabrics really help highlight it. And that's what we've done here. So this will go, of course, in all of our blocks here and on each of the corners on our quilts.
Wow, you know, it always amazes me how whenever you put different fabrics in a quilt, you kind of see the quilt pattern even a little different.
Yes. You know, this pattern is so cool because I love the borders at the top and bottom. I've always loved those. But the border around each block, it gives this kind of very subtle diagonal line.
It adds the movement to
movement to the quilt, and it really shows up in this fabric, and I think it's very cool. Both gorgeous quilts, but definitely, once again, a little bit different taste and a little bit different aesthetic, and I think they both look great.
They do.
Definitely great. All right, let's get you the kit information on this. It is called Painted Sun, and it is our Santa Fe pattern.
I love how different these patterns look just by changing up the fabric. What was your favorite version? Did you prefer the panel or the running yardage? Or do you want to make both of them? Let us know in the comments.
You can find all the kits we showed you today, including the panels, at fabriccafe.com.
And if you're working with panel fabric and want a little bit of help on your cutting, then be sure to watch the video that pops up.
Happy quilting!